We were talking about like what would be a great thing to train on for this next couple of Zooms. And so tonight we wanted to share each of us, I think there's one, two, three, four of us that are going to share we're missing a lot of people tonight, but I've been getting texts all night about different things going on for people. But as far as favorite booking ideas and information about booking meaning setting up appointments with people to share the product or share the career. But before I did that, we had a really great call this morning. Those of us, we've been kind of adopted into a couple of the national sales directors areas, and they do Zooms. And so Monday morning, Jamie Taylor has one at 7:30 a.m. our time that we get on and get a lot of, she's been so gracious to allow us to join in. Heidi connected with her, and she's let a few of us get in there and listen to her calls that she does with her area. And we love it because she's really young and in the field and really has new ways of doing things that are, I think, really, really relevant today. And then Tuesday, of course, Kristen Sharp, she grew up Pink. Her mom was a national sales director. She was one of the Velocity girls way, way back. I've watched her literally grow up. I've known her since she was in her teens. And she's just this beautiful representative of passing on Mary Kay in the Mary Kay way. But her call this morning, she had Joanne Homan. And I remember taking classes from her, and Susan Holman. And so she's a senior national sales director emeritus, which emeritus means she retired. And she was a national sales director that had an offspring national sales director, which is really the pinnacle of Mary Kay. I believe, she has her doctorate. And she's teaching right now at the college level in her area in Ohio. And she teaches a lot of communication and business languaging skills. I'm not exactly sure what she teaches, but she shared some really great tips and information. So if you have a pen and paper, there's just a few little things I want you guys to jot down that she gave us. And it's sometimes, in Mary Kay, we have our own language, Mary Kay talk. We say red jackets, we say, recruiting, we say beauty kit, we say, we have a lot of terminology, sales director, consultant. People don't really know what it means, some of the things, senior consultant. So she actually really gave us some really great information about, how we can adopt our languaging to attract people in today's business world. Because, not only is Mary Kay changing, but the world is changing. And so how we communicate, with this Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, I'm part of the end of the baby boomers. So then that's millennials, X, Y, Z. I think there's so many different generations since I came into Mary Kay. Some of the way that we speak about things is antiquated in our company, but also in business. So she gave some really great, and you can adopt these if it feels comfortable. But these are just a few things I wanted to share. Instead of saying orientation, the new buzzword is onboarding. Onboarding. When people are getting into a new organization, a new position, Sandy could probably teach this class because she teaches at a college. She works at a college. She runs a department at a college as a dean. But onboarding instead of orientation. So when we say orientation, some people feel like that's like their trial period at their new job to see if they're going to make the cut or not. But onboarding is the new word. Instead of saying marketing plan, kind of a better way to language that would be scalable business plan, because this generation wants upward mobility and advancement opportunity. So instead of marketing plan, scalable business opportunity. And, we've always said opportunity, or marketing plan, but instead of opportunity, entrepreneurial venture. Because again, these are the things that people are looking for today. So entrepreneurial venture. And this one, I'm not quite sure how much I relate to this, but I'm going to share it because she brought it up a few times. Instead of saying I'm in sales, I'm in business to consumer sales. I'm in business to consumer. I don't know if that feels comfortable to me. Because I still would prefer to say direct sales, but she said B to C. There was B to C and B to A or something. What was the other one? B to business to consumer. Basically, that is another way to say direct sales. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to say direct sales. But recruiting and recruiter, that one is very antiquated. Even the government doesn't use that for our military. So instead of that, talent acquisition consultant or talent acquisition manager, instead of saying recruiter. And then prospecting, and I know because I do kind of work in my other business with a lot of people in the business world, like the high tech business world. Instead of prospecting leads, we say sourcing. Sourcing. In other words, we're not going to go out and prospect for leads. We're sourcing. We're sourcing our next contacts. Instead of booking, and this one I really do hear a lot, we're going to calendar. We're calendaring. Let's calendar you in instead of booking. And instead of, again, prospects, pipeline or funnel. Does anybody need me to repeat any of those? I thought it was just fantastic. So again, instead of orientation, it's onboarding. Instead of marketing, again, to really reach the generation that's going to lead this company for the next 63 years, right? Instead of marketing plan, scalable business plan. Instead of opportunity, which sometimes, there might be a little stigma on that word. Instead of opportunity, entrepreneurial venture. Instead of sales, business to consumer. Recruiter, talent acquisition consultant, or talent acquisition manager if you're a director. Instead of prospecting leads, sourcing. Instead of booking, calendaring. And instead of prospects, my pipeline or my funnel. And she really gave a lot of really great points. And you guys, everything she said that she has done in her career since retiring, she's 70 now. And so she retired at 65, which you have to do as a national to get the retirement program. So she basically said, I'm a baby boomer, we're workers, we're still working because we like it, we like the purpose. But she also mentioned too, and we know this, we've heard it before, but we have about 60 seconds to make a first impression. So we really need to communicate with people kind of on their level and speak their language. Mm-hmm. And so those are just a few of the things that she said, but she over and over and over again, she said Mary Kay was a pro at business, success, training. And she even said that, I don't know if she said college credit, which she referred to the fact that if you've gone through the Mary Kay training program, and I know this to be true, for people who put it on their resume, it is definitely considered a really, really big asset to any company. I know April mentioned that at the job that she's working at right now, Harris Financial. Like when people see that you've gone through the Mary Kay training program, they're pretty impressed because of the people skills, the psychological, the self-personal growth, the communication, all the different skills that we learn. And so it is a skills-based business, but so much of it is really about us making that first impression, and we attract who we are. I wrote something down that I thought was so awesome. I was working out, you guys, and my earbuds went out. And so then I was getting such great stuff that I had to do this while I was working out. So she also said, oh my gosh, what did I write down? I want to say one more thing because I thought this was really relevant. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to point it out. She said, oh, your energy walks in before you do. She's speaking my language. So I've always kind of felt like instead of being attached, it's positive expectancy without attachment. Sometimes we go in and like, where do we draw the line between manifesting what we want and also being an allowance so that we don't, get all, I guess, discouraged when things aren't necessarily happening in the moment that we think they're going to, and we're not getting the results immediately when we want them. So I love that. Your energy walks in before you. And that's really what I want to start my part of the training as we each share some of our favorite booking. And so the first thing that I want to say, booking, it could be for a, we call it dream session, sharing the opportunity. I'm going to have to change my language. Sharing our entrepreneurial venture. So, when we get together with people, we're only going to do that if we have a goal to move up. It's the same thing with booking parties. If we have, or calendaring parties, I'm going to try to practice some of the languaging. If we have a goal to get us to, if we always begin with the end in mind, right? So if there is a goal that we have to have a certain accomplishment in our business, whether that be moving up in our career path, whether that be a certain amount of income or paying a bill in your family or making a house payment or whatever it looks like, those are the times when we actually move in the business, is when we have a goal. And that would be either with setting up sales appointments and or dream sessions. So get excited about it, because we don't usually book to just book. So it's always really, really good to have a goal out in front of you. And in Mary Kay, we always say it's mathematical, not magical. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys is my favorite, and this is the thing that I did not want to do, didn't do, refused to do, was not excited about ever doing, said I would never do until I was in DIQ. And I hadn't continued to book for my parties. So I had to go out, and they called it warm chatter. Okay, I don't really like the word warm chatter, but we call it conversational booking today. This to date is still my favorite way to, if I'm off the books, and I have been off the books as far as holding personal appointments for a little bit, conversational booking, freshening up that contact list. This is my favorite thing. And just a couple tips for me, I keep it really, really, really simple. Mary Kay says, keep it simple, sweetie. So wherever you go, whatever you're doing, first of all, maybe having the intention that I'm going to go out and I'm going to meet somebody great today that I can be of service to. So be friendly, be present, be engaged. I know that's something I had to work on because I'm a bit of a dominant personality. So I'm fast-paced and very task-oriented. I've since become a lot more people-oriented, but sometimes if I get on a task, it's hard for me to stop until I'm done with that task. But when you're out and you're doing whatever you're doing for the day, you want to make sure that you're really, really present and engaged with people that you're going to run into during your day, because you never know who might be looking for something that you have to offer. So if somebody is waiting on you, for instance, or servicing you, make eye contact. If you know their name or they got a name tag, sometimes people do at work, say their name. And Susan brought this up several times. Bring up their name a few times. It's a lot of times the most precious word that a person hears is their own name. It's just being acknowledged. Make a sincere compliment or find some kind of a way to relate to them. Again, not just because you're looking to get a lead out of it, but to make connection. We are wired for love and connection. And there are a lot of people out there that just need a friendly smile. They just need somebody to acknowledge them and to thank them for the work that they're doing. So again, it is your energy that's going to magnetize people to you. So come from the heart and have the intention to serve. You're finding a need and filling it. That's what we do in Mary Kay. Some people are going to want it. We always say some will, some won't. So what? Someone else is waiting. It may not be who you think it is. So if you find a way to make a connection and bring the conversation around, maybe it hasn't come around to Mary Kay yet, but you would love to be able to get to know this person better, or you find that you've had some things in common. I've built so many customers this way. And my favorite thing to say then and all the way since I started doing this and even still today is, would you mind if I offered you my card? Because it opens the door. You're asking a question. I've never had anyone say no to me. Never, ever can I remember anyone saying no. I mean, usually they say, sure, or what is it? Or what do you do? Or that kind of a thing. So it opens up the conversation, and then you can go from there. So I don't work from a script, but I will say, as far as like meeting people out in conversational booking, but I will say it's really important. What I do is I immediately text them. Like if they've given me their name and phone number, if we've gotten around the conversation to that, I immediately text them. I have one that we're playing phone tag, or text tag. Hey Lily, I so enjoyed meeting you. You're such a bright light. Thank you for your great service today. I can't wait for us to get together. I'll touch base tomorrow or, after work, whatever she told me, and to make contact so that we can get together for some pamper time. I'd love to get to know you more, kind of a thing. So, and then you just adjust that script to whatever it is, that you related to them on, or what kind of conversation that you had with them. But to date, that is my favorite way to book. Okay, so my second thing, each of us are sharing too, my second thing, and we're not going to go through this whole thing, but we're going to send this out, or I'm sure it's already actually on our Inspired Area page. So I'll go through it just really quick with you, and then I'll pass this on to the other girls. But if you're starting over, how many of you, let's be honest, your business airplane landed, okay? You haven't been out in the field, you haven't been booking. I mean, that probably doesn't apply to a lot of you, but some of you, or maybe you were hot and heavy and you were going, and then, you just got off the books because life started lifing on you and you didn't really have a lot of time and focus in your business. That's okay. So when you're starting from ground zero, and maybe you have a piddly little contact list that you haven't gotten around to everybody, I love this because it's not just the list, but it's called 60 names or 60 guests in 6 minutes. I've used this at business debuts or, different parties and functions and things. But basically, I was always taught work from several different areas of networking. Sometimes now, and we're talking a lot right now about just booking from your parties, and then you'll never have to go get leads, or put out facial boxes, or, do warm chats or work fair booths or things like that. But this is so great because we have those people already, just a text or a phone call or a direct message away. So 60 guests in 6 minutes, it has 6 lines for each one, 6 lines for family, 6 lines for friends, 6 lines for coworkers, 6 lines for spouses, family, spouses, friends, spouses, coworkers. That's if you have a spouse. Then it could be people you do business with, like doctors, bankers, insurance agents, salons, nail techs, things like that. Neighbors, church and social clubs, and then children's teachers, sports, their friends, parents, clubs. And then I always add to that also your social media for people who are active there. So on this, if you filled out 6 lines for each of those categories, actually there's one missing, it would actually be 66 or more if you did the social media one on there too. So this is a great way to kind of get the juices flowing and like, who can I reach out to that I would be a blessing for today? Or who might be looking for what I have to offer? And I do this question game and I allow the inspiration to come. I work so much by alignment and intuitively, as opposed to just lists and task mastering myself, which is what I used to do. And so I call it working from attraction and not efforting. Just being an allowance, being in alignment with who is supposed to be in your vortex. Because I really truly believe Bill Cantrell taught us this, that, and Jen knows Bill. Jen met Bill. So he would always say it's like an Easter egg hunt. Your people, your team, your customers, and your team, and even your leaders, if you're moving up the career path, or the entrepreneurial venture. I'm going to change my language. Any of that, they're out there. The ones who are supposed to be with you will be with you when you get intentional about attracting them. So much of it is just listening, being in the question about what it is, and then following that guidance. And I know a lot of you really operate in your life and your business that way. So those are just my 2 things that I wanted to share, because this is what I've gone back to. This is what I'm doing now as I'm preparing to start doing a lot more personal appointments and things here. And also, maybe getting some brunches going and getting things going. In addition to our meeting, we have a model room that we could do things at the same time. So I'm really planning on taking advantage of our space to see lots and lots of people and gather around the kitchen table, as Mary Kay said, or the model room table. So I'm going to pass it off now. Kelly, would you like to share next? First of all, does anybody have any quick questions about anything that I shared?
I don't have any questions. I just loved it, what you said. I was thinking about that list earlier and I was like, that is a good list. There's so many different things you can think of. So I decided that I was kind of going to touch a little bit because my niche has really kind of been the virtual world, and I've really embraced that and I really enjoy that. So I thought I would kind of take my booking kind of training tonight to the virtual world. And the document that I'm using is on our Inspired National Area Facebook page. It was posted by April in 2022. I will repost it so it shows up at the top. Some of it's a little bit outdated as technology and some things have changed, and especially with the launch of My Shop, but then a lot of it's still very relevant. So when you're thinking about virtual skincare parties and you want to kind of either jump into that line of business or you want to get like a refresher of it. So for people who don't know, a virtual party would be something that you either do online, on Zoom, one of those that's not necessarily in person. Why book virtual parties? Because virtual parties can get you, we know we don't have any territories or any kinds of we're not limited to certain places, and so we can reach more people in the virtual world. So there's different types of virtual parties. You can have parties with or without hostesses, and you can have parties with or without product samples. So you really have a lot of flexibility in the virtual world. And so I don't want to take up too much time because, of course, the document is there. It's 11 pages. Some of it's a little bit outdated, but some of it still holds true. So I want to just talk a little bit about the virtual party is simply holding a skincare class, color party, or any other kind of Mary Kay party through video conferencing, your social media channels, or other streaming platforms versus holding a party in person. So some good little tips are one of the, why would you want to book a virtual party? You can use virtual parties to book, sell, and team build, just like doing in-person in parties. You can reach people who live far away or with whom you may not have had regular in-person contact. The guests at the party can be from multiple cities and states. Reach shy people or anyone who isn't comfortable coming to face-to-face parties. Party from home or wherever you have an internet connection. A great option when weather or other unexpected obstacles lead to a possible cancellation. Maximize your time with potentially more guests attending in a single virtual party. So then there's lots and lots of ways to do those kinds of parties, but I really want to get in on how to hostess or not hostess and how to get that kind of stuff booked. There's some scripts that come with this that talk a lot about being able to book some of these. There's downloadable resources and different things like that. So one of the ways, obviously, if you're going to have a virtual party, one of the ways you can get leads and get bookings, or what is it, entrepreneur, or no, that would be calendaring, would be obviously, to talk to some of your social media kind of people. And so you would want to know how to guide your hostess if you are going to have a hostess. And so what you can do, you guys, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is I kind of like to, I want to enhance my time utilized. And so quite often, especially in the virtual world, I will have multiple hostesses and they'll all be on one thing together and then they'll invite their guests. So it's really important at the front end to, when you're talking to potential people, of why they would want to book and hold a party for you as a hostess. You want to talk to them and you want to find out what is exciting for them. What are they looking for? And it may not be Mary Kay product, and that's okay. Some people may need like $25 to pay a bill, or they may need something like this. And so getting out there and thinking outside of the box a little bit to get your hostesses, I think is really kind of awesome. And sometimes it will help you. I did post on my social media page the other day a way to earn $200 if you do a party with me. And it kind of touches on different ways to do your full circle, booking, booking, having the party, reorder, or, ordering, reordering, recruiting, all the kind of stuff. So the point I'm trying to get at with that is booking the hostess is really going to be the crucial thing in the front. And then you really want to be able to have a lot of that coaching with your hostess to help get them excited, find out what gets them excited, and then use that and have them, coach them and mentor them how to train their people to get on and have it be a successful thing. A lot of times people know we're doing direct sales and they know that, there's going to be a potential reason to buy at the end, but we want to make it fun and we want to make it useful and we want to make it worth the value of their time, because time does cost something. And so you want to have conversations with these people. So as you're booking them, you can get in there and find out what really is going to spark their interest and get them excited to move forward. And again, the hostess is also a potential person that you could learn to recruit later, or she could become a consultant. But it's even more important because we're getting to meet people that you don't know. So having one hostess and booking one person can open you up to many, many other people. And like we've been talking about, booking from your parties to recruit more parties and more consultants. So I will repost this tonight because I want to give other people a time to talk. So there's ways to do the party, there's ways to talk to your hostesses, there's ways to get hostesses, and there's scripts and stuff in here that just kind of help you with all the things virtual. And virtual can be just as fun as in person. And you can also do hybrid. So you can still do in-person stuff and then post it to social media as well. So there's lots of options by being able to use all of the tools that we have available for us. So I will let someone else go.
I can go. That was good, Kelly.
Yes, it was
Um,
great.
I love both of your guys' tips, and that was awesome. And it kind of goes along with what I'm going to talk about too a little bit. But a couple of things that have really helped me in my getting things on the books is shifting out of a sales mindset and into a service mindset. And then also focusing on the experience that I'm offering. So a lot of these things go right along with the call we had this morning. It was so phenomenal. Kristen Sharp actually gave us permission to share it with consultants. And so when the recording comes out, it should be by tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, then I can post it to our Boxer group so you guys can hear it because it's well worth listening to over and over again. But when I book from a service mindset instead of a sales mindset, I feel like booking doesn't feel forced. And then it feels like I'm inviting someone into something that's actually going to fill their cup, right? And I think that comes from my story of feeling like my cup wasn't filled when I got into Mary Kay. And so like I feel like I can connect with women in that way. And I think that when we do, it's just really beautiful because Mary Kay isn't just about skincare and makeup, it's really a lot about self-love and self-growth. And so when we can bring those things to our parties, they're just a lot more successful for me personally. So my first tip is focusing on the serving, not selling. And so why this works is because when people feel like they're being sold to, their guard immediately goes up. But when they feel like they're seen and they're cared for and supported, they kind of relax and just genuinely trust you. And so the core of it isn't about convincing them to have a party with you. It's about connecting with them. And so, like when I think about this, I go back to like, are you putting people on your books because you're desperate? Are you trying to like up your income? Are you trying to win a prize? Like it's good to have those goals in front of us always, but like, and I'm torn on this because I know that like sometimes people want to help support a goal and so they will book with you for that. But like read the room and like instead try to connect with them first. Um, and so when your mindset shifts to something like, how can I help her feel her best? It changes your tone and your body language and your words, and people can feel that difference. Just like on the call this morning, she said, your energy walks into a room way before you do. And so when you're going about it with that, service heart, it's a lot better for you and your guests. But the truth is, especially in skincare and self-care, people aren't just buying a service. They're actually looking for relief and for confidence and for someone who understands them. And that's one of the reasons why having a Mary Kay consultant is so beneficial to them. That's one of the perks of having your own consultant is that you have someone who sees your problems, they understand it, they're educated to help you through that. And if they aren't educated to help you through that, they know somebody who is, and they know where to get the answers. And so they can really buy into having you. And I know you guys have heard me talk about that before. They're not just, they can buy Mary Kay anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but from anyone. But what makes them keep choosing you? So why are they going to book with you? What is it that you're bringing to that experience that makes them want to have a party with you? And so some of the ways to do that are instead of jumping straight into booking is to slow down and ask a question like, what's been bothering you most about your skin lately? I ask that at every booking. Every time somebody's complaining about their skin on Facebook, I like to book in lots of different ways. I like to calendar in lots of different ways. And so um, looking at what people are saying and then actually listening to what they're saying and using that to regurgitate it back to them and ask them for more details. Um, I have notes so that I don't go too fast. I don't talk too long. I'm gonna get back to them here. Okay, so reflecting back what you hear, listening for emotional cues, not just surface answers. So when you can connect to the emotion behind it, like that makes total sense. You just want to feel more confident without worrying about your breakouts. Breakouts, texture, those things are number one in women's issues for their skin. And then position it to be a booking as support. So I'd love to help you with that. Let's get you in so we can really work on it together. That way she doesn't feel alone. She feels like you're going to actually help her and you're not pushing, but you're more guiding her through the situation. And so this results in like people not ghosting you. Like nobody wants the, hey girl, I'm working towards the goal. I need to see 30 faces. Can you help me out? And then conversations feel easier and more natural, and clients trust your recommendations more. And that helps you build long-term relationships so that you're getting that consistent reorder business as well. Um, and then you become someone they come back to back over and over again. And then my second tip is to sell the experience, not the appointment. And so this works because people don't wake up in the morning and go, I think I need a skincare appointment today. But they do think, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I feel tired. My skin looks saggy. I need a break. I want to feel pretty again. I don't know what colors to wear. This foundation doesn't look right on me. I wish my hair looked different. Like sometimes, I mean, hopefully women have positive affirmations too, but generally speaking, somebody can find something wrong with their skin in the morning. So if you're only offering a facial or an appointment, then that feels optional. But when you offer an experience, you tap into their emotion, and that emotion is what drives the action to have them actually get on the calendar with you. So you're not just offering a service, you're offering some peace and quiet, some confidence, an hour away from the kids, a moment just for them. And that's really powerful. I've named my facials. I never say I'm offering a facial. I feel like people expect me to be putting the product in their face and doing massages or scalp treatments and things like that. So I always call it some sort of session. It's either a mask and pajama session, or it's a pampering session, or it's a summer or winter to summer refresh session. And then that already naturally taps into what they're needing more right off the bat. So like saying things like, it says instead of doing, do you want to book a facial? Try, I'd love to get you in for a self-care reset, an hour where you can just relax and be taken care of. Or let's get you in for a glow session so you can walk out feeling refreshed and confident. And so using their words that they're complaining with in a positive way, then you're going to be the person that brings that to them. And then you always connect it back to them with you deserve that. I think that we need to remember that we're all worthy of having self-care isn't just, oh, I got to take a bath today. Like self-care is so much more than that. And we are all worthy and deserve the best all the time. And so helping women feel that I think is really important. So it gets people excited instead of hesitant. Booking feels like a treat rather than a task. And then you attract clients who value the experience. And then if they value the experience, they will inherently spend more money with you. And then your brand feels elevated and memorable. I think that one of the biggest things from the call this morning is that, like, sometimes I do have trouble with the words that we use, the recruiting and the opportunity and, the facial and the party. And like, I think that that has been a holdup for me. And so hearing that call this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, like I had such an epiphany. And I was like, I'm excited to book again. Like, I just, I think that when we use elevated words, we're more aligned in our business, and then we are more professional. We come across more professional. They see us as more professional, and then the value of our experience goes up. And like, it's one of the things they said on the call this morning that you'll hear, but she said, when someone tells you like, oh, you just sell Mary Kay or whatever, like those aren't your people, because when you are in front of people who know what Mary Kay is and knows what the business stands for, they're like, oh, you do Mary Kay. Like it's such a reputable business. And like if you ever get a no, and I'm just saying this because I've gotten a couple that have like knocked me on my boots, but if you ever get a no from someone that's rude or like not very friendly about it, like just remember that's on them. It's not you. And like what we have to offer is super valuable. And we're reminded of that with all of our positive feedback that we get from clients. When a client walks in and they're like really hesitant and they leave saying, can I hug you? Like, are you a hugger? Like, that's when you know that you made a really good connection. And so just keeping that in the forefront of your mind when you are scheduling people out. That's my tips.
I love what you said about, Heidi, about connecting to the emotion of what they're needing and looking for, because it isn't just a product. There's a lot of products out there. And then also really about selling the experience. And the replay came, so I went ahead and forwarded it to our Voxer group. For those of you who are new, are both of you on Voxer? Wendy, have you gotten onto Voxer before, or Jan? It's basically looks like it's a little free app. It's an orange walkie-talkie, and it's V as in Victor, OXER. And we do a lot of back and forth communication within our group on that. And if you get on there, just send me a little message on there. Look for Denise Nygard, and it has my picture, and then I'll add you to our group, because we do a lot. Like if you're in the middle of your day and you have a quick question about a product or about something with the company, and somebody's going to get back to you right away if you put a message on the Voxer. We have a great dialogue. We share a lot of celebrating good news, as well as the Inspired National Area Facebook page. You just have to ask to be invited to that, but we do a ton of recognition, and we post a lot of our material. Instead of having an area website, which I used to have, which nobody went to, I just do it all on Facebook. So it's Inspired National Area. It's in your orientation stuff we sent you, but just to kind of reference that, go ahead and get in both of those, and you'll be kind of in on the loop of everything that's happening, as well as the materials that we're talking about on these Tuesday meetings. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Heidi. Rebecca, your turn, girl.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I just have to say, first of all three of you are so amazing, awesome. And I love, seriously, you guys, this is so fun because we all connected on like the basics of what we were doing, but we did not share what we were actually talking about. And I love that all of us picked something different, and it's just flowing so well together. But Heidi, that was fire.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what the kids say these days. And no, it was so good. It was so good. And it just reminded me, kind of what I shared last week. It just reminded me of like my best friend came to glass facials that we did with Denise. And, she is in another company who also works with skincare. And to hear her feedback and just hear what she had to say, how she felt about it, but then she just really, really poured it into me. And it was so funny. She was so fired up. She was cussing a little bit. And she was like, Rebecca, you are an effing professional. And sometimes I think we forget that what we offer is a professional service, and it is high quality, right up there with what people spend hundreds of dollars with. And Heidi, your words made it feel like reminds us, and it made it feel that way. So thank you all three so much. So I'm super excited. I'm glad that we were actually supposed to pick two, because I did pick two. And you know me, I can never pick one. And so I picked two. So one of my very, very favorite ways to get bookings or calendarings, other than calendaring from calendaring, I don't even know how to say that. Anyways, we'll figure it out, is booths. Okay. I love, extra love working booths. Okay. It is like so my jam. It just like, I don't know. I feel like it's like this 10 by 10 space that I can just be me, and I can be passionate about what I do, and I can just put it all out there. And then kind of like what Denise said, like the people who are meant to be in my realm, they come to me. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get people to stop, but generally, like, people are just excited that you're excited. And so obviously, for those of you who can't tell, I am like an extreme extrovert. And so booths are just amazing. And I just love it so much. And so you can do all sorts of, if you haven't done booths before, you can do, craft fair booths. We're going into spring and summertime, so there's a lot of different festivals that happen in our area, I'm sure down there as well. I am the one that holds our Spokane County Fair booth, and so it's a great big long 10-day for 11 hours a day. It's a big commitment, but it's amazing. And I've had that for, I don't even know, like 8 or 9 years that I've been doing the fair. And it's so fun because specifically when you're in an area where you can do it for several days in a row, you get to know the other people. And then we start networking for each other. Like, oh my gosh, have you checked out 3D printing next door? Like, they're amazing. And then they do the same for us. And so we call it our fair family. So the fair is the one that I do the most, takes up the most time. But then I do, kind of little festival ones here and there. I have done like bridal fairs. I've done, I mean, you name it, there's beauty expos that you can do. But that is my favorite way to lead generate and to book or calendar with people. And I will say, so just a little bit of clarification when we're doing this, and most of you should know this, but so whenever you're starting something new, you definitely want to look up the regulations and the guidelines to make sure that we're working our business with integrity. Because we do not sell products out of our booth. And a lot of people don't understand why that is. I mean, those of us who have been here, we get it. But people outside of Mary Kay, they're like, then why are you here? Like, why wouldn't you sell a product? Well, the reason why we don't sell a product is because we really, really work by the golden rule and we want to respect our sister consultants' businesses, right? And how often have we been in a space where it says Mary Kay on it and you have that person that comes barreling up and they're like, oh my gosh, I just ran out of my cleanser or my oil-free eye makeup remover and I need some. Do you have some? Well, that's taking away from Heidi's business or Kelly's business. Even if it's that one-time sale, you guys work hard to keep your customers. I work hard to keep my customers. And by doing that one-time sale, even if it's on the fly, it can really, really hurt somebody else's business. And I never want that to happen to myself. So I never want to do that to other people. But it is actually rule in Mary Kay, like we do not have storefronts. So we cannot sell products out of our booths. And so, so basically the whole purpose of having a booth set up is obviously to meet people, to lead generate, to do that conversational calendaring, and to, get to know people. A key that I have found to have the biggest success is to text them as quickly as you can after you get their name and phone number. That is extremely crucial because that is what is considered a hot lead. And the longer that you go without communicating with them, the colder the lead gets and the less likely they are to actually calendar with you. And so I've actually had this partner, another director in the area who has partnered with me for a couple of years, the last couple of years at the fair, because I didn't have a lot of people on my team to like work it with me. And 10 days for 11 hours a day is a big commitment by yourself, first of all, but then also when you have kids and other things going on. And anyways, one thing, so it's very, very interesting because the last couple of years, the people working with me had this recommendation that we split the leads fairly, which that's a whole nother conversation. We always work that you get the leads that you get, right? Because different people work different ways. Some of us get lots of leads and maybe some people are a little bit more timid and shy and they may not get the results, but you are responsible for your own results. Anyways, so with that, our leads were going 10 days. Like, the people that came to the booth the first day, they're going 10, 11, 12 days without being communicated. And I noticed that our booking rate went way low the last couple of years. And so I'm actually choosing to change that again this year. We'll see if my partners decide to keep partnering with me. But what I realized is it really, really makes a difference for the success of your business. So if you're at a craft fair and you just do like a enter to win a pampering session or a glass facial session, a lot of times I'll do like a basket giveaway where we're giving away $50 worth of products and you have it there displayed and then they enter to win. So it's very similar to facial boxes. But the cool thing is that you get that conversation going. You get to meet them. You get to ask questions. Have you ever worked with Mary Kay before? When was the last time? Oh my gosh, your baby is so cute. And you make that personal connection like what Heidi was talking about and what Denise has mentioned as well. And I love it because it's very casual. It's a safe space. Generally, people come to you because they're semi-interested in what you've got going on, and it makes the conversation really easy. It makes the connection really great. Therefore, they're more likely to calendar with you and for it to hold. So if you have more questions on that, please feel free to message me or text me or whatever, but it is my absolute favorite. I've got ideas on displays, what to display. You want it to look neat, tidy, maybe a little bit enticing and fun. You don't want it to be overwhelming and you don't want it to be gaudy. And so if you are interested in doing something like that and you want to have a conversation, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to share more, but it's so much fun. And I actually, a couple of years in a row, some of you may not know this, but I was actually in the Applause magazine because of my booth, and it was so fun to see your picture in there when you open up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's Rebecca. It was so fun. The second way, which is, I mean, it's right up there, but it goes along with what the ladies have already shared of being a blessing to others, and it is honoring working women. So it's very similar to what Denise talked about, that conversational booking, but you're going out with intention. So we all frequent businesses where there are not just people working, but specifically women. And you guys, people who work in customer service, they are not treated very kindly very often. And it's getting worse and worse. Like I feel for the people who work in the post office. And I mean, the baristas, they usually get treated pretty good because they're feeding our caffeine addiction, right? But there are places where people are sometimes just so rude and they're just trying to do their job. And so what I love is I love going out with intention and I love blessing them. And a lot like one of you shared, like when I go to honor working women, it is really with the full intention to bless them, whether I get something out of it or not. There's ways that you can do it. You can take roses, you can take samples, you can take chocolates. And basically what that looks like is you go into whatever business and you're like, hey, I am, Rebecca, I work with Mary Kay, and I am just out blessing people. I wanted to honor working women. And so here's a nice, cute little bag of chocolates for you. Maybe there's some skincare samples as a thank you for everything that you do. Okay. Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to feel like people appreciate them. And kind of like what Denise said about hearing their name, like I have literally had people break down in tears with me just saying that because they had had such a hard day. They felt like they didn't matter because of what XYZ person said. And by you coming in and just saying, hey, I am literally just here to say thank you so much for what you do. Here's something to go and pamper yourself with later this evening. That generally opens up a conversation. And then I will ask them, be like, there is actually a way that we can get together and I can take you through a full pampering session. Is that something that there's two ways you can do it? Is that something you would be interested in? But the better question that I have realized, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get together with me? Okay, so it's basically asking a question that their no is a yes, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit kind of not reverse psychology, but you know what I'm saying. And more often than not, because it hits them right in the feels and they're just so thankful that somebody appreciated them that day. They were like, oh my gosh, I would really love that. My toddler's been screaming all the way through the night or whatever, and they just pour out their heart to you. And so I totally agree with what the lady said, like being in alignment and really just being in that place of gratitude, and then just saying, okay, today I'm offering a service, and when we be a blessing to others, God blesses us in return, whatever that looks like. And even if it's just one name and number, sometimes that one can turn into 20, and we never know the ripple effects that is going to come back to us. But we never know the effect that us just going in and appreciating other people is going to have on their day. You can, do like what Denise said. Is it okay if I leave my card with you if they don't want to give their name and phone number? And then you just release the rest and see what happens. And so those are my two very favorite ways of getting names and phone numbers, and just like I said, being a blessing to others where the booths are concerned. Sorry. Where the booths are concerned, my conviction is that even if they don't come to my booth, me just being me and smiling at them and saying, hey, how's your day? it does plant a kindness seed in them, and that even if they don't show it right away, it will follow them. And so either way, it all works out great. So those are my favorites.
Thank you. I love your energy. And yes, you do take on a really big project by doing that big fair in your area. I know that Spokane, is Spokane Valley or is it the Spokane?
Yeah, so it's
Fair?
the
Big one.
Spokane International Fair or
International Fair.
Spokane,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. And there's so many different opportunities out there. Some people
Mhm.
love to do those things, some don't. But I guess the key today, and I just appreciate everybody's input on this, and we're a little bit over time, so I won't keep you guys too long. But my challenge is, for those of you who are new, just take a couple of these ideas, a couple that feel comfortable, or if you've been in your comfort zone and want to reach out, maybe to try something a little bit different, and find an area where you can thrive. We'll make sure that the 60 guests in 6 minutes is posted on our area page. And but take these to heart. And if you're new, you might be looking at it a little bit different, especially for Wendy, Shelby, and Jan, where you make your wedding list of who would you invite to your wedding, and start writing down the name of people that you obviously you're not going to invite every single person for a facial, but that's a great place to start, is people in your life that you feel close enough that you would invite to your wedding. That's usually your initial contact list. So that could be all of the above: friends, family, neighbors, social, all that. And really just start making that list. And I used to keep it beside our bed, and then you think of a name, like when I was new, and you'd write it down on that list. And then we can do one of two things: either a business debut and or an initial party, with the goal of getting in front of a certain amount of faces when you're ready to launch your business. So I know that, Wendy, you're probably working together with Rebecca in the area. You live in Spokane, right? Area? Okay. And then Jan, I'll be working with you when the time is right, about when you have the availability and freedom for us to get you started. But take these ideas and put them into use. And next week, we have a very special training on this 21-day. Well, I'm not going to give it away. Okay, I'm going to leave it a secret, and everybody plan to get back, because that's really going to help you create a little bit of a tickler system on getting those people calendared. Okay. All right, you guys have a wonderful, fantastic week. Love you all. Have a
Good
great
night. Have a great week,
night.
everyone.
Thank you all for sharing. Good
Bye.
night.
Thanks, Denise.
Absolutely.